All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day 2, unit 9. Today, our goal is that I can factor using the greatest common factor. Oh, come on. Factor using the greatest common factor. We're going to say GCF. Okay, I can factor using the GCF. So it's more practice from yesterday. We're going to look at maybe a couple harder problems, but some of them you saw today in class. So first thing we need to talk about is the greatest common monomial. Oops, greatest common monomial factor. Sorry. It's all that. Okay, greatest common monomial factor. It's kind of what you were doing today, but it's the largest monomial. Okay, remember a number is a monomial, but also it can include variables and exponents. The largest monomial factor that two or more terms have in common. All right, so again, saw some of this today. Let's take a look at what that exactly means. So we've just got some examples to look at and some for you to try. So 5x squared minus 2x. Okay, so taking a look at the biggest thing that goes into both of those. Okay, well 5 and 2 have nothing in common, but they both have that x. So we can factor out the x, and what is remaining? Well, if we take an x out of 5x squared, we're left with 5x. Okay, if we take an x out of 2x, we're left with 2. So it's like that dividing, remember? Okay, so there's that factor. Okay, next one. 6b to the 4th. Plus 2b to the 3rd plus b squared. Okay, so this one's tricky because it has 3 terms, so we have to have something in common with all 3 of these. I see that the first and second terms have 2 in common, but the third term doesn't have that. So what do they all have in common? If we wanted to write it out, well, I see that they all have a b, but they don't just have a b. They have 2 b's, because remember, 6b to the 4th is like 6 times b times b times b times b. 2 to the b to the 3rd is like 2 times b times b times b. And b squared is like b times b. So they both have 2 b's in common. So we can take those 2 b's out, b to the 2nd. If we do that, what's remaining? Well, if we take 2 of those b's away, looks like we have 6b squared. If we take 2 of these b's away, okay, plus 2b okay, and then we take these 2 b's away. Okay, we're left with, nothing, but really we have to remember that that would be like being left with 1. Okay? All right, couple more examples, then just a few for you to try. If you need time, and write down. All right, I'm feeling like purple. I dig it when I use purple. All right, so next one, 14 y to the 4th plus 7 y to the 2nd. Okay, so take a moment, try that out. What do those have in common? And take some time to look at that. Okay, if you need to, remember you can always write it out, just like I did the last one. Okay, so 14 is 1, 2, 7, 14. And then we've got y. Okay, 7 is just 1, 7, and y squared is y and y. Okay, so what do they have in common? Well, they both have a 7, and they both have 2 y's. So the biggest monomial factor they have in common is 7y squared. What's remaining? Well, what times 7 gives me 14? That's 2. What times y squared gives me y to the 4th? Well, y squared. Okay, and look at 7y squared. Well, that was 7y squared, so what's remaining? A 1. Okay, if you're having questions or challenges or feeling stuck, make sure you write down questions that you have and make sure you ask them tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple to try on the next slide. So try these out. These are just some examples to try. For you to try. Try. Okay, you don't have to write that down. But we've got 3x to the 4th plus 24x to the 3rd. 2. You've got 25 n to the 3rd plus 35n 4x squared plus 8x plus 2. And finally, this is like a challenge problem. So if you look at it and you're a little puzzled, don't feel bad. It's okay. But give it your best shot, okay? The first 3, I hope that you can do successfully. This one's just that little challenge problem. Okay, so 6a to the 3rd, b to the 2nd, plus 12, a to the 2nd, b to the 2nd, minus 20, a, b to the 2nd. Okay, so for sure do the first 3 of these. Try out number 4 and bring any questions you have to class tomorrow. Have a great evening. Hope to see lots of parents at conferences.